What is good, guys? JVG again. Six Figure Sneakerhead. SixFigureSneakerhead.com. Yesterday was tax day, and it sucked because I procrastinated. And I was there all morning, going through all my shit, going through each PayPal transaction. Yeah, it's terrible because it's not worth not paying taxes, especially when the bulk portion of your income is through reselling. You don't really make money doing other things. It's not worth trying to dodge that because you get hit with penalties. So, just real quick, I know a lot of people sell shoes and they probably don't pay taxes on them because I didn't the first year. I didn't at all. That was 2015. I did a pretty significant amount of sales. And one thing I did that you can do if you didn't pay taxes is you can go back and amend your return, which means you can fix your return. So if you just Google amend tax return, you can do that. Basically, what you have to do is, well, first of all, like, what'll happen if you don't file taxes? Well, you might not get caught, but the way it works is, like, they're not going to come knocking at your door, like, right after tax time. They're going to wait, like, a few years. And I had this happen to a friend. He was reselling, and then 3 years later, he got a letter from the IRS saying he owed all this money from the past, like, 3 years. Like, they pretty much flagged him, and then they were watching him for 3 years. And what happened is, since he didn't report it from 3 years ago, he accumulated all this interest and all these penalties. And basically, it's just not worth it. So what you have to do is try to save all of your receipts. And because what they do is, like, say you did, like, I don't know, like $30,000-$50,000 in sales. First of all, if you break 20 grand in PayPal in 200 transactions, they're going to send you a 1099. So in that case, you definitely have to file taxes. And all you do is you subtract what cost of goods plus like the cost of shipping, PayPal fees, eBay fees. You add that all up, and you subtract from your gross sales, like the money you took in, and then that's profit. When you're selling sneakers, if you're selling like general release and Yeezys combined, you normally profit about 30%. So for every like $100,000 you sell, you make about 30 grand. If you're just selling Yeezys or very limited shoes and you're good at getting them at retail, your profit's more like 60, 70%. 70%. So like for every 100 grand you sell, you make about $70,000. Throw in Supreme there, and you can make basically like 100% profit margin. So for every 100 grand in sales, you're making like $100,000, like pure profit. If that makes sense. Sorry, I'm like tired. I can't really do math right now. But yeah, but yeah. So if you get a 1099 from PayPal, make sure you fill that out. And I'm not giving accounting advice, but it'll come back to bite you if you ignore that. So what if you make under 20 grand? What if you sell less than 20 grand? Say you only sold $17,000 worth of shoes. What you should do is do the Schedule C on your personal income and report your net profit. So it's like the 17 grand or whatever it is minus the cost of all the stuff the cost of the inventory, the cost of shipping, the eBay fees. If that all adds up to like, I don't know, $12,000, say you only profited $5,000, then you owe like 15% on that. It's like self-employment tax. So 50% of 5 grand, it's like $600, and that sucks. But if you also have a W-2, it just get taken out of your return. Now, you might be very hesitant to pay that $650 like I was, but if you don't, what they'll do is they'll flag you from years back, and then they'll be like, they'll see that you took in 15 grand on your PayPal, and then they'll tell you that you owe 15% of 15,000, which is, it's like almost $3,000, like $2,500. That's a hell of a lot more than $600. So you can either pay now, or you can pay way more later, because like what happened to my friend, not only would you owe that 3 grand, they'll hit you with the interest over time. So if they hit you 2 years later, you might be looking at the $6,000 tax bill that if you don't pay, you might be facing some consequences. So what I'm doing this year, and I hope you guys start doing this too, if you start selling sneakers a lot, keep all your receipts and have a notebook or like an Excel spreadsheet, and have all of your profits there and your cost of goods, and even the mileage in your car, like driving to and from the post office, you can write off. But don't go crazy on write-offs. That's another like red flag. Just basically play it safe, because you gotta do it official. Um, it's different when you're selling cash on Craigslist. I don't know. Like that's kind of a gray area. You're not like running some huge business, so they might not go after that. I mean, this is terrible advice to give, but I mean, you should pay taxes on it, but I mean, I know it's hard to keep track of. If you want to do that, do it. I'm probably gonna do it this year, just to be safe. But that's about it. I mean, it's like I gave really shitty accounting advice. I might have even called the forms the wrong names, but I just want to let you know that when you're reselling, you have to think about taxes. Don't completely ignore it, because it can come back to bite you in the future. Alright, guys. Hope you have a good rest of the day, rest of the week, rest of the year. And that's about it. I wish you all the best, as always. Deuces.